Okay, so we got this working and we're happy and we know it. Okay, that's working. Z will undo that. Here, let's just do this and we'll go in and I will turn off this. We've got the other head in here and you'll see this is going to be a problem. So as we're figuring things out, let's just take that original base group and I'm just going to hide it. Okay, so we got the hair and the eyes in here and we can see everything as we're working it. But we're going to get rid of this thing afterwards. Okay, so first thing I want to do, I want to make a phoneme here. I'm going to make the A face. So there's going to be my A face right there. We do something like this. I'm just going to open it up to an extreme that I'm probably never going to use. Say that right there, and I can clean that up. It's too far, whatever. I'll say that's good enough for now. I want to go back and paint the clusters, but it's too late. So I do this. I'm going to take this base group, and I'm going to make a duplicate, and I'm going to call this duplicate. Okay. And this duplicate, I'll just move it so you can see what the hell's going on. Push this back this way. Let's just hold down X when I do it, and I'll snap to the grid, and we'll put it, say, right here, and I'll move it over a few units so that you can see it's off. Okay, so there's one. I'm going to go back to the cluster here, and let's dial that out. 0. So there's A. The next one I worry about is my E or my S face, and the mouth opens slightly for the S face, the E face. Okay, slightly. We'll say like this. The teeth are just not touching. They're just open a bit. And I'm going to take the base group and I'm going to make a duplicate. I'm going to call this duplicate. I can call it E or S. Either one is going to work. And I'll take this one. I'll do the same kind of thing. I'm just going to so that, you know what? I should probably just move it just along X. And that way people get less confused. Let's just do it like this. There. I'm just going to move this guy over a little bit more. Okay. And then, yeah, that's good. I'll go back here to the base group. The next one I like to handle is M. Okay, the M face. Just going to close the mouth so the lips are kind of touching here, something like that. And that should be good. And I'll take this, Control D, and we'll take that name M. And I'm just going to move it. Ink right there. Great. And let's go back over here to the base group. And what do we want to do now? The A, the E, the M. Then I'll put in the hardest one. Okay, the hardest one, in my opinion, is the O. We're making the O. The mouth becomes slightly open. Okay, something like that. Maybe around a little bit different than the E face. Something like this. Take the base group, make a duplicate, and this one is going to be O. Okay, and let's move that over. Hold down X. Keep it really consistent. So the A, the E, the M, and the O, and then let's see. I'll do another one that's not as important, but still equally as important. This one is the V, or the F face. What happens is the jaw comes up a little bit, but it also does this weird thing where it kind of moves back, F and V. Your lower lip touches your upper teeth. So I just move this down and back a little bit. Let's just see if I hit 4 so I can kind of see what's going on. Okay, just so the teeth are coming out a little bit here. I always find I play around with this a little bit too much, maybe. I'll call it right there. Let's hit 5 and look. Yeah, so my lower lip is going to come over here and touch these teeth. I could even exaggerate a little bit, but there, do something like that. Okay, easy enough. No one's going to see what's going on in there, but they are going to notice if the upper teeth are touching the lip here for those two phonemes. And that should be good. So I'll take the base group, make a duplicate, and let's call that F. I could go in here and make a few more, like another one that is always really satisfying is the la. Okay, whenever you do an L sound and you do a or a U afterwards, what you'll notice is your tongue touches the roof of your mouth and it drops. So this little tongue, la, will do that. So the mouth kind of opens and the tongue drops. So, but I'm going to skip that one because it's not super important. And I'm going to try to show some of the other Windows Blendshapes editor tricks, but these ones are the important ones to me. Okay, we got 6-minute mark. Okay, I'm going to try and do this next section fast. Here what we'll do, we'll set these up. So A, E, M, O, F. I selected those in order. And then I'm going to go to this base group over here, the one that's up here that's hidden. And I'm going to go, and I selected the groups, okay? I'm going to go into Deform, and I'm going to create a blend shape. I'm going to take this base cluster one here, I'm going to hide that, and I'll hide this cluster here. Let's reveal this one. And I'm leaving those around in case I feel like making some more, because you could think about it and you get really crazy about this and make a bunch more, but we don't need to do that right now. Okay, and if I go into animation editors, shape editor, there they are. Okay, let's just take a look. So if I take this, I go and there it is, everything moves. Okay, and unless they've changed it, I did this because you can't do that little cluster trick on the base mesh. Okay, because then you delete history, you can't get rid of it. So it's like, that's why I did it on a separate mesh, just to create all these things. And here's something I can do. If I turn on the A face, if I update things, like here, let's move this up here so you can see this. So when you make your A sound, right, the cheeks are going to logically come in. I could probably turn on the edit and do that here, but I kind of like to take this one and do it over here. So let's just show you what the hell I'm talking about. If I grab, say, this vertex here, let's put on a soft selection. Okay, and with soft selection, let's turn on symmetry and we'll put it on object X. So it did the other side. Make that a bit softer, and you'll see that as I move this, it's going to update on the other one over here. Okay, so the cheeks are going in a bit. Okay, now that I've shown you that works, I'm going to go in here and do some editing on this. So just kind of push this in a bit. Okay, great. The tongue and the teeth don't really change shape. Do this. Maybe do a little bit of this. Okay, and then I get to that point and I go, okay, that's cool. Let's go over to, where am I? I'm in rigging. I'm going to switch over to modeling, and I'm going to go into surface, sculpt geometry tool. And I've got the relax on. And so I can come in here, I'll make my brush a bit bigger. Symmetry's on as well. And that's probably in the stroke I got a reflection on. So I can go in and I can kind of relax these. If I hold down shift, I can smooth them a little bit. So there's smooth, and then there's relax. And relax is going to keep the form a bit better. Shift is going to lose the shape, so I got to always compensate. But this area should be kind of caving in a little bit, so the shift isn't too bad. And let's just see how that looks when I trigger the blend shape. Okay, so again, it's like I told myself I didn't care about the extremes. Actually, it's coming down. That looks a little unnatural, so let's go back over here with the relax and bring this in a bit. And again, I could spend a lot of time on this and make it really cool, make it totally sweet. When I do this, that looks a bit weird. The cheeks should come down a bit more, I feel. I'm holding down shift so it switches to the smooth part of the brush, right? Over here, if I look, there is that one, right? Yeah, there we go, there's the smooth. So I could switch them around physically, but just like ZBrush, it's just copying ZBrush hotkeys. I don't want to touch any other parts of the face, just around the mouth. Okay, so that one's good. Boop. See how that goes, and I can come back and tweak this at any time. So that's your A face. Let's go over and do the M, or actually this is the E face. So let's go in here, I'll grab vertices, and I'll take this thing, it's on either side. I'm just gonna turn it to its side a little bit like this, and I can pull this back. Okay, I'm just gonna make sure that gap doesn't go too far, and I'm just gonna rotate this out of it. Okay, we're gonna have to check it out and see if it works in a second. This one generally goes fairly quickly. And you see if you've got good geometry flow, you're gonna have a nice, almost a smile, but not quite right here. Okay, because it's following the nasolabial furrow, this little crease right here, your smile line. Let's go back and test it out. Okay, I might have to do some smoothing out up in here, but I'm calling that good for now. Actually, it might even be because I got the wireframe on. If I turn the wireframe off, I probably won't notice that as much. Yeah, I can hardly see it. Okay, let's go over here. Let's do the M face. M face. These corners here just aren't looking that good. So I gotta come in here and grab some vertices. Turn off. Right now my soft selection is probably based on volume. If I go and double click on it, you could go into the soft selection. Actually, no, I have it on surface. I switch between volume and surface quite a bit. Okay, so I did switch already. If I had it on volume, it would be grabbing that total upper area here. We don't want that. Switch to surface. Now, when I hold down B, you'll see it creeps along the surface, so I can actually go in here and bring this up, bring this down, close the mouth here without touching the other side. I think this may move that down a bit. Good. I should spend more time doing this, but I'm not. Let's go and hold down B. Whoop. So for the M face, typically, this kind of tends to come back. Kind of similar to the E face. Okay, I don't want to do too much. This area here, come out of it. Again, constantly go back and check it. Blend shape editor. There we go. And I could spend much more time on this. What time is it? 13-minute mark. Okay. Then this is the hardest one. Do I want to do the hardest one? Yeah, we'll do this one here. This one sucks. This is the hardest one. I can do them fast, but it took me a while. Just frame that and zoom out a little bit. So the O face, I gotta take this corner back, push it in, maybe rotate it out. Okay, and so what happens is this upper lip, I'm gonna do something like that. You know, moving a bit of the nose, gotta be careful. My soft selection might be a bit extreme, so let's pull this down. I pull this out, rotate it. This is, oh, and here I'm gonna make that soft selection a bit bigger for this one. Still not grabbing that. What's that? Why is it ignoring that? Okay, let's select those and put them both in here and see what happens. Oh, it's because I've got like a side selection thing. Is that working on both those? Now it's fine. Okay, great. And I could just smooth that out with a sculpting tool afterwards too. I'm just gonna pull this out a bit, and so we got something like that. So the lip kind of comes out, and then it's these corners up in here. This is where I always see this, people trying to do blend shapes for the mouth, and they always kind of make this circular ring, which is incorrect. The upper lip and the lower lip kind of pinch down. I might even end up using a little bit of like some kind of inflate brush on or move normal to get these up. Okay. And I can smooth that out. I'm just going to make sure I have the good general shape first before I start doing any smoothing or anything like that on this. Doesn't like moving some of these. That's kind of weird. Okay, I'll come back and smooth that in a second. That's not too bad. But again, let's just check it. How is it working? How is it blending? It's this one over here. Take that slider and ooh. Yeah, it doesn't look right. Not bad, but let's click on the teeth and hit F. Something I'll do. Actually, do I want to do that? No, I don't think I want to show you that. I could make another window. Actually, let's do it. Panels, perspective, new. Make a new window. And then I can go over and hit panels and I can tear it off. And so I got this one here floating. And so there's my ooh face right here. Let's make this smaller. And I can take this one and make that my perspective. So there's where I'm looking and checking this whole thing out. And this one here, it looks like I got fingers growing out of my chest. I can go in and correct this one and I shall see it update here. I can keep playing with the slider. Yes, that doesn't look right there. How about actually, you know what? Let's go in and get that sculpting tool. I'll hit select and let's make my brush smaller. We're relaxing this and that's actually going to and do something there. Okay, that looks weird, so I'll clean that up. Okay, so it's looking better. Again, take the slider. Actually, the lower lip is not moving enough now. It looks weird, so I've smoothed it out too much. I think I might have lost the shape. I might have to go back on this one and what the hell is that? This is on an object. Sometimes when you use the sculpt tool, you'll see that this symmetry falls out. It's kind of a pain in the ass. Yeah, I don't like it. Actually, let's go and undo that where I smoothed, because that just doesn't look right now. There, that looks better. Holding the shape. I take this one in the middle, make that big. And I'm just gonna. And now I'm starting to get quiet too. I notice I'm starting to concentrate, so I'll start getting quiet. There. Take this and this action here. Like I said, this is the hardest one. Because I always spend a lot of time on this one figuring it out. Actually, let's change that drop off. Actually, let's take that and down a bit. And okay, I gotta stop. There it is. Boop. I'll call that good enough. Let's do the easy one and then I'll stop the video. So go zipping over here, just in time. Oh. Getting visited by a hound. Okay, then this one here is kind of easy now compared to the stuff. So go in here and I grab these vertices right in front. Zip in. Turn my soft selection, make it a bit bigger so it's encompassing most of the lip area. Pull it back, pull it up, rotate it a little bit so it feels like it's getting a bit of a stretch out of it. Touching the teeth, a little bit of crash, maybe not so bad. Not too much though. I could spend some time making this better, but we'll say it looks good like that, and then I'll zip over here. and check that slider out. So there's my O face, ooh. And then there's the F. Okay, really kind of a subtle detail. No one's going to notice as long as it's working relatively well. Okay, so we got all that done. And what else do I need to do? Let's go back to the 20-minute mark. I'm going to stop here.